Learning is a treasure that will follow its owner everywhere. So invest your time in gaining knowledge as it pays you the best interest throughout. Hey, this is Khyati and I welcome you to Grey Edge. Revit MEP is a BIM, that is Building Information Modeling software, allowing complex building systems to be accurately designed and documented in a short amount of time. Revit MEP is able to leverage dynamic information in intelligent models and is stored in a single database file. Hence, changes made in a part are automatically propagated to other parts, enhancing the workflow of Revit MEP users. In succession to the last year, where we had learned the key new features in Revit MEP 2019, this year too, we shall experience the key new features in Revit MEP 2020. So our video focuses on the following enhancements, like electrical home run wiring improvements, electrical panel feed through lugs, level height parameters renamed, elevation parameter for tags, schedules and view filters, copy legend views across sheets, and new operators for filtering. So let's start with the very first feature, that is electrical home run wiring improvements. When it comes to showing home run arrows, every firm has specific standards in which they want to show the arrowheads. With more control over arrowheads and tick marks, Revit now gives the flexibility to control the home run arrows that appear when multiple circuits are a part of one home run. So let's experience this. So I shall just go to the Systems tab, Electrical Panel, Electrical Settings, and here I'll just go to the wiring settings, that is under the electrical settings on the left we have the wiring option, where I'll just concentrate on the first thing, that is the home run arrow style. So the home run arrow style can now be changed according to your preference and standards. The default one is MEP arrow filled 15 degrees, where I'll just go to the drop down and change this to say arrow 30 degrees. What we see here is the arrow filled is now changed to the arrow 30 degrees. So the entire home run arrows in the project are being changed. Let's again go to the electrical settings. Now this time I'm going to concentrate on the second thing, that is arrow for multi-circuits home run. Before that, I'll just change the earlier one, that is home run arrow style, back to the default one, that is MEP arrow filled 15 degrees. So next setting that is changed over here is arrow for multi-circuits home run. So now the visibility, or you can say the graphics of the arrowheads, that is the home run arrow style, can be changed for multi-circuits. So the default arrow style for the multi-circuits is right now multiple arrows. I'll just keep it as it is. Okay, so what is happening is here there are two circuits. I'll just connect this circuit to the other circuit. What happens is this is connected to the original circuit, and now here we can see multi arrows, that is multiple arrows, as this has become a multi-circuit. So the arrow style over here can now be changed either to multi arrows or a single arrow as needed. Let's see the other options. So I'll again go to the electrical settings here, and this time I'm again going to arrow for multi-circuits home run, and I'm changing it to say the single arrow. So yeah, what is happening is here now we have a single arrow. We have an arrow connected here and also the arrow for at the end of the circuit. Further, there are some more options, like we want multiple arrows but on the end wire only. What does this do is, it does not show the arrow where it is getting connected in between, but it only shows at the end of the wire. So yes, now in Revit 2020 we have some wiring settings, that is home run arrow styles, which can be changed. Also there are some styles for arrows for multi-circuits home run, which can be edited according to your standards, your likes and dislikes. The next enhancement that we are going to learn is to model the connection of panels through feed through lugs. In some situations, the electrical design requires a panel to be feed through lugs type. This situation can now be modeled in Revit. So let's see this in practical. So over here in this particular drawing, we have two panels. One is this DBG01 and the main panel. When I just select the DBG01 and go to electrical circuits, what we see here is it's connected to the main panel and the connection type is a breaker connection. Right. Now let's go to the project browser, and into this we have the panel schedule for the main panel. So I'll just enter into this, and over here what we see is the main panel has the connections on it, that is DBG01, DBS01 and also DBF01. That is, all these three panels are connected on the main panel as a circuit. Yes. Now we'll just go to the floor plan again. We shall select the DBG01, go to electrical circuits, and as I again repeat, this is connected to the main panel through the connection type breaker, and now I'm going to change this to feed through lugs. So this is a feature which is added in Revit 2020 where we can change the connection type to feed through lugs. As soon as I change this, it's giving me an error that the main panel does not have the feed through lugs enabled. So do you want to enable it? So if I click on enable, yeah, now when I select the main panel, what happens is in the instance properties over here, we see that the feed through lugs option is now activated as we clicked on enable. Now let's go to the panel schedule again. Yes, now what we see here is still DBS01 and DBF01 are connected here as a circuit, but DBG01 is not connected here as a circuit because it's now connected via feed through lugs. So yes, this way we can change the connection type of a panel to the other panel through feed through lugs rather than a circuit breaker. The next update is related to the elevation parameters for ductwork, pipework and cable trays. Previously, when we used to create a duct or a pipe, we had a parameter in the option bar naming offset, which indicated that it is the middle elevation of that element. That is, if I would just go to the duct creation, and over here in the option bar we had the option previously naming as offset. Now that offset was by default indicating that it's the middle elevation, or say maybe the center of the duct. But as we change the justification as say maybe the bottom or the top, still it would just show offset. But now in the latest version, that is Revit MEP 2020, the parameter over here is changed from offset to the elevation, and further when we just change the vertical justification say maybe as top, this parameter is changed to top elevation. Further, if I just change to say maybe middle, it's changed to the middle elevation. So now it is very specific that the elevation or the offset that you mention is which elevation, whether it's a top elevation, the middle elevation or the bottom elevation. So we can simply specify the elevation that we need. Say maybe I want the TOD to be specified, so I'll change the justification to say maybe the top, and now I'm going to the option bar and I'll specify the justification, the elevation as say maybe 3200 because my TOD is mentioned as 3200, and then I can just start creating my ducts. So yes, now the creation of the ducts is very precise and there are no errors in specifying the offset. Similarly, when I'm going to the creation of the pipes, again here also the parameter is renamed as elevation. That is, previously we had this parameter in the option bar naming offset, where we would specify the COP, that is center of pipe. Now when I am changing the vertical justification to say maybe bottom, right, so now it's showing me bottom elevation, that is the invert level of the pipe. So I can just specify the invert level directly rather than calculating, and I can just create the pipe that is needed. So yes, I can simply start with creation of my pipe. So yes, this is a very good enhancement that is being added to just reduce the errors that were caused due to the option that is offset, which is now very precise, specifying either the top, bottom or the middle elevation. The next update is regarding the elevation parameters for the elements. The elevation parameter, which was previously used for the elements, is now renamed as elevation from level and offset from the host. Right, so these are built-in parameters which can be used for tags, schedules and view filters. Here is a list of categories for which the elevation parameter is now a part of. So let's get started with seeing the examples of the same. So I shall just go to the section over here, and when I just go to the section, I can see some elements here, like if I just select some electrical lighting fixtures. So here we see some parameters, that is elevation from the level and from the host also. Also we have some lighting devices here, so where we can see that when we just select the lighting device, that is the switch over here, so what we see here is the earlier versions had some options over here like just the elevation. Now it's like the elevation from the level and offset from the host. So these are the two new parameters which give a detailed information of the element, and also this can be scheduled, this can be tagged, etc. So now what I'm doing is, as I said, we can just tag this. I'll just go to the annotate tab, and over here I'm just going to the tag panel, tag by category, and let's tag this. So now when I'm tagging this, what we see here is it's getting tagged with the ID, that is the switch ID, which is S3, and also the elevation from the level, that is elevation from the level can now be added in the tag family. Right, so again we'll just create a schedule of the same, that is I'm just going to the schedules here, and yes, we have a lighting schedule here. Yeah, I'll just create I'll just go to the section here. Now this is S3, which is at 1200. Now when I'm going to the schedule, what we see here is this is a lighting device schedule, where we can also add the, of course, the family, level, switch ID, etc. or were there by default. Now I'm just going to the fields, and over here I'm just adding elevation from level. So the field elevation from level can now be added, and we get the elevation for each switch. So I'm just changing the elevation for S3, that is I'm again going to the schedule and I'm changing the elevation to say maybe 1500, and yes, you can should get updated. Yeah, S3, yes, it's S3 and it's changed to 1500. Let me check. Yes, the switch ID is F3. So yes, this is changed to 1500. Similarly, we can just schedule each and every particular switches. Like say example, if I'm just tagging this particular switch, that is switch 23, S23, and again I'm going to the schedule and I'm just going to S23 and I'm just changing this to say maybe again 1500. Let's go in the section Yes, and yes, you can see it's moved over here. Yeah, so basically what the feature is that now we can give the elevation from the level as a parameter in schedules. Also we can tag the particular elements which can be changed their elevations. So yes, now this is a feature where we can just add the elevation from the level or elevation from the host, which can be tagged and also which can be added in the schedules. As they say, work smarter when needed and not hard. This perfectly applies to the next feature that I'm going to introduce. So the next feature is related to the copying of the legends from one view to the other. First, let me give you a brief about the legend before actually starting the feature. So the legend view is a list of the model components, list of the details of the model components and annotations used in the project. This is a logical representation of the elements relevantly used in the project. Now previously, when I need this particular legend which is already placed in the sheet in all the other sheets, that is, I'm having this sheet as A101 and I want the same legend at the same place in the other sheets, that is, I'm just going to the other sheets here, that is A102, A103, etc. So I want the legend to be placed in the same place. So previously I had to go to the new view and again I have to drag and drop the legend and again place it and so on. So if there are many sheets, it really takes a lot of time, and this is a very inefficient method which wastes a lot of time. So now in Revit 2020 we can simply copy and paste the legends to the other sheets. That is, I'm just going to select this particular legend view, like this is the legend which is already placed on the sheet. I'm just going to select this particular legend here. I'll right click, I'll just no need of right click, actually I'll just select this and I'll click on copy. That is, I'll just go to the modify tab, clipboard panel, copy, or I can also use the shortcut key Control C. Go to the paste options, okay, and we can just say align to selected views, and into that I can just say A102 and A103. So this will be copied and pasted in the other sheets, that is A102 and A103. I'll just click on OK. So let's see whether it's pasted or not. So when I'm just going to A102, you can see, yeah, it's already placed again at the same place. Again in A103 also it's pasted in the same place. So we don't have to drag and drop, again arrange the legends. So if it's a typical sheet where I want these legends to be placed in each sheet, I don't have to do that tedious task. I can simply drag and drop in one sheet, arrange it, and then just select it and copy, and then go to the paste options and align to selected views and just paste it to the other views. So yes, this is a very efficient way to copy the legends to all the sheets. The next new feature that we are going to discuss is the new operators of filtering. Filters identify the elements based on categories and parameters. In the previous version of Revit 2019, we had seen that the new improved filter rule where we could use or and rules in filters. These updates provided much more flexibility. However, there was a limitation on parameters that could be used for or rules. So let's see that in detail. So I'll just go to the visibility graphics, that is view tab, visibility graphics, filters tab, and over here I'll click on a new filter. So I'm just going to add a new filter here where I'm just naming it as, say, maybe the lighting and fire detection. Yes, I've just renamed it, and further I'm going to apply this to, say, the lighting fixture and also the fire alarms, that is fire alarm devices. So now when I'm going to the filter rules, this was a feature of Revit 2019 where we could add the and or rules. But in the previous version, that is 2019, if I would use the OR rule, I would have the properties over here which are common to both the categories, that is fire alarm devices and the lighting fixtures. I would not have the individual features or individual properties of the say the selected category. Now I can select the category individually over here, and then I can just select the properties related to that category only. So yes, this is a feature of Revit 2020 where we can select the category individually and only have the properties related to that particular category rather than having the common properties in this particular list. So yes, now I can select the, say maybe I'm selecting the type name equals the smoke detector. I'll add one more rule where I'm selecting this time as lighting fixture. Again, the type name equals, say, the CAD. So I'm just selecting these two particular categories and their properties. I'll just click on OK and I'll just add it over here, and I'll just select the filter that I just created. And let's change the graphics over here, like I'm just changing the line color to, say, maybe the magenta color. And now what we see here is, yes, the lighting fixtures and the smoke detector both have changed their graphics as the filter is applied to both the categories. So yes, this is a feature of filters which is now added in Revit MEP 2020, where we can individually select the properties of the categories and not have the common properties in the list which was previously there in the OR rule of 2019. So let's wind up with this session of key enhancement in Revit MEP 2020. Thanks for listening to me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this session. Please stay tuned to get such updated content, as education without application is just entertainment. With that thought, this is Khyati concluding for now. Have a nice day.